Welcome, everyone. Let's jump right in. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's explainer because we are unpacking something truly fascinating. We're going to look at a scientific breakdown that reveals the hidden biological and physical systems secretly controlling our everyday happiness. We always like to think we're totally in the driver's seat of our emotions, but recent scientific discoveries, which actually remarkably echo ancient philosophical texts, suggest something completely different. We're going to explore exactly how evolution, neurobiology, and even quantum mechanics explain why human beings find it so incredibly difficult to just stay happy. So have you ever noticed this in your own life? Someone could give you 100 glowing compliments, but if just one person points out that your new haircut looks slightly lopsided, well, that one negative remark is literally all you can think about for the rest of the week. It's a completely universal human experience. And as we're about to see, this highly relatable psychological quirk is not a personality flaw. It's actually a central mystery of the human mind, and it's a feature that has been hardwired into you for millions of years. Okay, let's dive into section 1, the brain's negativity bias. To really understand why we focus so heavily on the negative, I want you to imagine you're walking through nature and you come across this lush, beautiful flower bush. Now, ideally, you'd want to just stand there, relax, and absorb the beauty, right? But your brain isn't actually designed for that. Instead, it's designed to instantly hyper-focus on a tiny rustle in the leaves of that bush. Why? Well, because that rustle could be a hidden snake. From a purely evolutionary standpoint, appreciating the beauty of the flower doesn't keep you alive, but spotting the snake absolutely does. So our brains have evolved to catch and latch onto the tiniest negative stimuli, often completely ignoring the positive, simply because reacting to the negative is what keeps us breathing. And this isn't just some overnight assumption or a loose evolutionary theory. It represents a rigorously tested scientific consensus. Back in 1998, a scientist named John Cacioppo made a really groundbreaking discovery. He found that the cerebral cortex reacts far more intensely to negative stimuli than it does to positive ones. Now, of course, the scientific community doesn't just accept things right away. For a few years, there was intense skepticism, debate, and a ton of rigorous testing. But by 2001, scientists Paul Rozin and Edward Roisman published a landmark paper titled Negativity Dominance, and that really cemented the proof. Today, it's a globally accepted scientific fact. Human brains are fundamentally biased toward the negative. Moving right along to section 2, evolution's survival tool. So what's the actual biological engine driving all of this negativity? Well, evolution isn't a system that cares about your self-actualization or inner peace. It prioritizes pure survival and reproduction above absolutely everything else. So here is the chain reaction happening inside your head every single day. Step 1. You encounter a negative stimulus, like that one insult about your haircut we talked about earlier. Step 2. Instantly, a small almond-shaped part of your brain called the amygdala, which controls fear and anger, is triggered. Step 3, it rapidly floods your body with stress hormones, specifically adrenaline and cortisol. And finally, step 4, those chemicals effectively sear that event into your brain, storing the memory deeply and powerfully. This is exactly why you forget the 100 good deeds someone did for you, but you never, ever forget that one bad thing. It's not your fault. It is exactly how evolutionary biology designed your hardware to function. So the crucial point is summarized perfectly in this quote. Evolution never wanted you to be happy. It only wanted you to survive and reproduce. We all crave happiness for sure, but stress, fear, and frustration are actually evolution's essential fuels. They are the tools used to keep humanity moving forward, ensuring we stayed alert, anxious, and alive for hundreds of thousands of years. Which brings us to section 3, the illusion of permanence. To understand why nothing lasts forever, we actually have to shift our focus away from biology and over to physics, specifically to a concept known as quantum jitter. Science tells us that absolutely nothing is permanent. In fact, even if you look at a completely empty vacuum in space, an area totally devoid of all matter, the energy level is never at zero. Due to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, there is this constant, rapid, chaotic fluctuation. Virtual particles and antiparticles are instantly appearing and then destroying each other in mere fractions of a second. This nonstop subatomic shaking is quantum jitter, and it proves that absolutely everything in the universe is in a constant, inescapable state of change and vibration. And this brilliantly illustrates a really profound connection. Modern science, through Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, proves that energy is constantly changing and nothing is permanently stable. Remarkably, this perfectly mirrors anicca, the ancient Buddhist teaching of impermanence, which states that all things inevitably change, decay, and just cannot be held on to. Modern science is beautifully echoing ancient wisdom here. So the core takeaway, because the universe is built on constant change, desperately attaching ourselves to the idea of permanent happiness is essentially a mathematical impossibility that only leads to suffering.
All right, let's look at Section 4, our hidden daily suffering.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is when we zoom back out to our macro lives and look at sankhata dukkha. This translates to normalized suffering. Think about what we have to do just to exist on a daily basis. We have to constantly find food, consume it, and digest it. We have to endlessly earn money to survive. We have to engage in the relentless physical maintenance of the human body, sleeping, washing, pretending we actually enjoy going to the gym. These are exhausting, mandatory tasks. But because society operates this way, and because literally everyone around us is doing it, we don't even recognize it as suffering. We just casually call it normal life. But in reality, it's a massive, ongoing burden. So, how do we get out of this? Section 5. Escaping the evolutionary system.
If our biology is hardwired for fear, and the universe is fundamentally unstable, and our daily lives are packed with these hidden burdens, how on earth do we break free? The source material points to a very specific solution: sati, or pure mindfulness. It's not about fighting the system, it's about observing it. The only way to short-circuit this evolutionary trap of suffering is through simple awareness. When you feel that sudden spike of fear or anxiety over a tiny mistake, mindfulness allows you to just step back and realize, oh, that's just my amygdala releasing cortisol to keep me alive. It's an evolutionary trick. By recognizing the brain's tricks and understanding the impermanent nature of reality, you can observe the system without actually falling for it or being controlled by it.
Which brings us to a final question I want to leave you with today. We are totally wired to follow the herd, to chase the illusion of permanent happiness, and to react blindly to our negativity bias. But now you know the science behind the trick. So what does this all mean for you? Will you stay trapped in the illusion of the system, letting evolution dictate your stress and anxiety? Or will you make the radical choice to wake up, use mindfulness, and truly see reality for what it is? It's a profound choice, and it's entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Until next time, stay curious and stay aware.